No, I told you that volcano was gonna erupt. I told you it was gonna go 1,000 freaking X, baby, to the freaking moon.
Breaking November 28, 2022, the world's largest volcano has erupted on the big island of Hawaii, Mauna Loa. And believe this if you like, but I told my wife before we left to come visit family out here in beautiful Arizona that the volcano would erupt and that the Holy Spirit had told me that that event would happen. Again, you can choose to believe that or not, but my wife will vouch for me. I told her that it would absolutely happen. And now we have breaking news, lava beginning to flow out of Mauna Loa as it erupts in Hawaii's Big Island for the first time in 38 years. Experts warn of a very serious situation escalating if magma from the world's largest active volcano seeps into the rift zones. Of course, this is going to create a lot of fog on the sister islands. Also important to note, I don't live on the Big Island. I live on the island of Maui. My father, John, personally lives on the island of Oahu. So we should see some of the impacts and effects of this as the lava flow and the eruption, which has just begun. It began on Sunday, I think around like 11 p.m. or something like that, could continue for weeks. Now, they say that no immediate evacuation warnings have been issued, but the authorities always get it wrong. I remember when we just had the fires a couple of weeks ago, they said it was 20% contained. I was watching the mountain. Clearly, it wasn't contained at all. In fact, it was spreading. So if they say they're not going to evacuate, I would count on the exact opposite. So prayers for those people on the ground that may be affected on the Big Island of Hawaii with the largest volcano in the world having just erupted. This is massive, massive news. You know, after my video yesterday, somebody said, Christopher, you know, free speech is okay as long as people aren't telling lies. I kind of laughed at myself for a minute. I said, well, what do you mean? The mainstream media lies all the time. Remember when Elder Bush Sr. said, read my lips, I will not raise taxes. And then he did. And remember when his son said there were WMDs, weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, but there weren't? Those were bold-faced lies. So the politicians lie all the time. The mainstream media, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, lies all the time. And in fact, a lot of this is subjective. So I think it's funny how people have been absolutely brainwashed here in the United States of America as if the authorities and those in charge are telling you the truth when we know history proves otherwise. In case in point, we have massive news in China today, huge civil unrest as a result of 3 continuous years of lockdowns. Massive chaos on the ground, massive hysteria. The Chinese clearly, evidently pissed off, unable to get key resources, good food, good labor conditions, get a good pay, daily rate. And it's interesting to me that not a single U.S. politician speaks out against China. In fact, isn't it correct? Many believe that what just happened over the last couple of years, what we can't talk about, came from China. So here's a question. Why ain't we at war with China? Huh? How come our politicians are still speaking politely about China? How come no one's calling this out? How come all big tech Fortune 100 is doing, cuddly little business like a teddy bear with China, helping them to build out their internet? If China's the problem, and all of that's true, are we not at war with China? And see, that's where the truth is. Ladies and gentlemen, this will come to pass, and I think more Americans are waking up to this fact, if you're smart. Of course we're at war with China, and it's what I've been telling you for years. The proxy war in Ukraine is a war for the greater World War III conflict, and what I think is going to happen next is absolutely what's happening right now. If the Federal Reserve does not pivot, and I believe they are, if they don't start cutting rates immediately in terms of interest rates, we're going to have civil unrest. We're going to have chaos in this country, God forbid. It's going to be a worst case, end of days scenario, in my humble opinion, because you cannot create a wealth transfer like this. Okay, you cannot eviscerate an entire middle class. You cannot have an interest payment on the $31 trillion of debt exceeding that of the Defense Department budget and still have a country that holds together. This means you need to get out of paper assets. This means that you need to get out of US fiat dollars. Any fiat currency, you need to be buying gold, silver, Bitcoin, cryptos, real estate, land, cash flows, starting all of your new businesses and all these things that I'm encouraging you all the time. Also, we had massive news today, BlockFi having declared bankruptcy. I'm very disappointed in that because I was hoping that BlockFi, one of the lending companies, would survive. It's important to note that people like Peter Thiel were some of the early investors, I believe, into BlockFi. So it's now that they're restructuring, we're going to see, how those assets are salvaged. But again, we already kind of knew that this was going to happen because any crypto company, this isn't a cryptocurrency, but a company that is associated with FTX, and I thank God I never recommended them because I think I could smell that from a mile away. Not that I'm perfect, but I never recommended FTX. But any company now associated with FTX is now going down. It's another reason why I've never recommended leverage. In fact, if you watch my first and earliest videos, not only do I tell you never use leverage, never use margin, but that again is the greatest risk that any investor could take. So now we're seeing as the gross mismanagement of these companies that are tied into SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, who again, this whole thing's a psyop. I mean, this guy was the second largest donor to George Soros. He donated like $70 million right before their bankruptcy declaration to the Democratic Party, hanging out with Bill Clinton, Tony Blair. I mean, this guy virtue signaled as one big, climate awareness guy who's going to save the planet, and he only drives a Toyota Corolla. The whole guy was a fraud. The whole company has been a fraud. And the only reason the Democratic Party and U.S. officials and regulators allowed it to happen, folks, is to do just that, regulate the industry, which is what is coming next. So I see capitulation here. I think this is the absolute bottom of the crypto space. And what I'm most worried about, again, is fiat. Get out of cash, guys. If you're sitting on $100,000 worth of cash, you need to exit those banks. There's going to be capital controls in the United States, in my view. There's going to be bank runs. And I think there's going to be panic. Again, if the Fed does not start cutting rates and increase the bailouts on the $31 trillion, this whole country will implode. The whole United States of America is insolvent, ladies and gentlemen. It's based on a foundation of sand. It's based on debt and very low interest rates and bailouts. That's what the country is formulated on. It's kind of like the three little piggies. You build your house on a foundation of sand, it's going to collapse. That's why you need to build it out of stone or brick or gold or silver or Bitcoin, the first decentralized asset that governments can't control that's outside of the wielding influence and power of any kind of sovereign government, third party, or bank, which is what makes it so absolutely invaluable as we approach capital controls. Remember, who told you that there was going to be a major financial institution, but we didn't know which one it would be? October 1st, when the Pope was moving all of his assets around? Who told you October 1st? Get all your ducks in a row because a major financial institution was going to go down. Well, it was this guy right here. Did we know it was going to be FTX? No, but we knew a big one was going to collapse. Now it's created some contagion, which again, it's all a good thing. It's a good thing to see us move towards more of a regulatory framework. And also, too, I'll notate, as many of you also know, but the girl, I forget her name, she was like the CEO of FTX. Her dad was the boss of Gary Gensler over at the SEC. Yeah, how about them apples? So all of this is connected. It ain't what it seems. And again, just like we know, governments historically have lied right directly to the faces of the American people. So, it's a good thing that there's more civil debate, as Elon Musk is discussing, on places like Twitter right now. That people's accounts are being restored so they can actually speak up and view their opinions. So we can see in the news, although I don't really trust it because I don't trust the algos in what they're showing us, but seeing the civil disobedience in China does give me a little bit of faith in humanity from the standpoint that the essentials versus the non-essentials over the last couple years has been an absolute travesty. It's only helped transfer more wealth to the billionaire class and destroy the middle and lower classes here in the United States of America because that's what they want. They want to introduce universal basic income. They want to move us to socialism. That's what they're doing here in the West. They don't want the United States to stand with strong borders. They don't want us to have a new republic. I talked about this yesterday. I'm the founder of the New Republic Party, where we unite. This is what they're most afraid of. Unite all the conservative base parties. Unite Trump. Unite MAGA country, as we see here in Arizona, Texas, and these beautiful states. Unite those that support DeSantis. Unite libertarians, those that don't have as much faith in the system, think a little bit outside of the box. That's what they fear. They fear a party in unison, working together, that cannot be defeated by the radical left and the Democrats. And it's the name, the New Republic Party. So this is what we need to get behind, these types of causes, these types of political actions. And I've said for years, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have a solution, STFU. And you know, I think you understand what that means. If you don't have a solution, you need to stop talking. Everything I work on, everything I deploy capital in is a solution. Makes money. For example, Island Project. No debt, because I told you there'd be a debt collapse and a credit collapse and expect companies to go down. That's why we don't have any leverage and everything we own is in cash. We're also building a decentralized network outside the system for freedom, Americana, and liberty. I've been telling you to buy gold and silver, which you should do right now. Click the link below at amtvgold.com and get every piece of gold and silver that you can buy today. Get our Patriot metal bars. Stack it sky high because banks are going to collapse. We're going to be bank runs, credit collapse, complete lack of faith and trust, and you know what? Which is the only thing backing the worthless fiat trash dollar that currently exists in this country. So unless the Fed rolls up its sleeves and starts printing again, which we know it's going to do, or starts cutting those rates soon, expect Mad Max, because Americans have more debt than they ever have in the history of the world. They've got more credit card debt, they got more auto loans, they got more mortgage debt. As rates spike, that'll collapse the entire market itself. So they got to put on the brakes somehow here. But as we approach total geopolitical calamity, as we have freaking volcanoes going off, lions and tigers and bears, oh my! BlockFi and volcanoes and inflation, oh my! As they attempt to force everybody into a panic, I would tell you guys just to have a clear set of eyes here. See the forest through the trees. Understand this is the plan. Again, the plan has always been a wealth wipeout of middle America. This is what I've been warning you about. And then splintering and fragmentation of the patriot movements. Trump, MAGA, notice they want to indict him. Look, ever since Trump got in office, they've attempted to destroy him and destroy his character. They splinter people off with DeSantis versus Trump, so people are arguing with that over these particular causes and issues. You got the libertarians over here. Nobody's unified. So if you want to fight back, okay, you want to take your country back peacefully. You want to protect your hard-earned wealth. You buy gold, you buy silver. You want to protect America. You want to save America. You don't want to just make it great. You want to restore the constitutional republic. Join us at Island Project. Join us by buying gold at amtvgold.com. We're almost sold out, by the way. Make sure you place your order. Get our sovereign mints, get our gold bars, get our Archangel Michael golds and silvers. Get those Patriot metal stackers. Buy as many as you can. Again, I'm going to sell out this week as a result of people now panicking out of the dollar and realizing everything I said has been the absolute hardcore truth. And as they lead us to war, expect more disruption. Expect more of a problem. Expect more manufactured chaos by design. So in Hegelian form, like I've been warning about, they can provide you with the solution. Socialism, universal basic income, new systems of government and power, social power, governmental power, as we see China and the BRICS nations take the whole world by storm. And notice not a single politician calls China out at all. It's really incredible. Maybe Trump does, but that's about it. No one's calling out China. So China is really the one behind the war in Ukraine. It's not Russia. That's a proxy war that got the full blessing by China. North Korea firing all those nuclear-capable missiles all the time over Japan, causing emergency alerts. People to seek shelter. Guess who's in command of that? China. So again, China is the problem. China is the country that doesn't allow their people to speak up freely. We've not seen a protest like this since the Tiananmen Square protest and that tragedy that's been whitewashed from history. And now what we've seen over the last couple years, not just in China, but here in the United States of America, is reaching a boiling point. So unless the Fed wants to do something soon, man, I'm expecting the worst is coming. I'm Christopher Greene, hard-hitting and in your face. Please like and share this video. Get it out to your friends and family worldwide. I can't do it without you. Join us with the New Republic Party. Click the link below at amtvgold.com. Get your gold. That's amtvgold.com. Get everything that you need today, and also help us build the Island Project, our world-class cash flow, cash cow investment with no leverage, no debt, that owns the best-of-class real estate in the world. That's also being tokenized 1000x. Not financial advice. Read my disclaimers and disclosures on my website. Now is the time to prepare and get ready for the next secular bull market bull run during the capitulation. During when they say there's a lot of fear. People always say buy when there's blood in the streets. And that's what you should be doing right now. Get out of the banks. Get out of those cash, worthless fiat dollars. Buy real assets. Trust the plan. We know where all this is headed. God bless, and Jesus Christ is King. Share around the world.